Hey all, welcome to Parkers Reefs. On today's episode I've got some really good news and a little bit of bad news. Alright, so let's jump straight into it, and I want to get straight onto the bad news because I always like to finish on a high. And the bad news is my huge display tank, my 6 by 2.5 by 2 foot mixed reef that's been running for 6.5 years now is going to be shut down. It's something that I knew was happening eventually. The tank can't live forever. That tank's had a few evolutions in that the equipment I'm running on that tank has changed over time. It's probably become a lot more successful than I ever envisioned it would become. And it's kind of just outgrown its facilities or its infrastructure, I guess. And along the way, it's had a few oopsie moments, and you know, it's just not as fresh as it should be. The stand is a wood stand. It's had some water through it sometimes, so it's got a little bit of swelling here and there, and it just makes me a little bit nervous when you've got a tank that's probably 1 to 1.5 tons of weight sitting on a wood stand that's had a bit of water through it and is potentially not even risky times. So I figured I'd rather, much like a professional sportsman, I'd much rather shut the tank down and retire it on a high note rather than wait till the seam splits and come home and find 1,000 litres of water on my lounge room floor, because if that happened, I don't think my wife would let me keep reef tanks anymore. Now, the obvious good news to something like that is that a replacement is coming, and this upgrade, I'll call it an upgrade with a hesitation because it's barely any bigger, but this tank is going to encapsulate all of the learnings and understanding and experience and things that I've had over the last 7.5 years of reefing, and I'm going to be able to put that all into one build. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be quite a long and slow build. The tank is going to go where my current tank is. So I'm not going to even try and do a transfer because I always feel like there's compromises made there, and the whole purpose of this tank is no compromises. So my main display tank will be shut down and it will be emptied. My livestock will be moved on. I may keep 1 or 2 fish, and I may keep a couple of frags, but that will be about it. Everything else will be sold off or given away to people, probably members who follow this channel. While that tank's shut down, my wife's been dying for new floors throughout the house, so I'm going to take the opportunity to, while there's no tank in the lounge room, to put the new floors down, then the new tank will go in. It's going to go in the same spot, and it's only going to be a little bit bigger. We're going to go from 6 feet long to 7 feet long, and we're going to go from 2.5 feet wide to 3 feet wide, and we're going to go from 2 foot tall to 2.5 foot tall. The tank itself will sit up a little bit higher because I always feel like my current tank was a little bit low, and with the crown on it, reaching into it was not an issue at all. But I just felt like when you wanted to look at it, you were kind of squatting down, and it just kind of ruined the appeal for me. I'd rather the tank be up higher at eye level. I'm not exactly a superhumanly tall guy. I'm 6 foot flat, but my wife's fairly tall, I guess. She's a few inches shorter than me, but in my opinion, tanks should be about this high. So I think you should have a metre high, if not 1,100 high, as a minimum for a stand height. I know that does make sometimes it a little bit complicated to work on, but a compromise well worth taking, even though I said no compromises. Now, I've got a couple of videos coming up for this tank, but just forewarning that it's not going to be pumped out all in the space of a couple of weeks. The progress for this tank will probably take about 6 months before it's completely full and running. I've got to work out the stand, I've got to work out cladding for the stand, I've got to work out a sump layout, I've got to work out what equipment I want to run, I've got to work out what glass box I want, I've got to work out what substrate, what rock, what layout of rock, what lighting equipment, what external things like heaters and chillers. So many things are going to go through with this tank, but I've got the green light, and I can't wait to get running with this tank. So I don't have really anything else to say at this stage other than if you really want to see this tank come along, it's definitely one you do not want to miss it, because this tank's going to cost me a pretty penny. Like I said, I want no compromises. I want this to be what I've learned, and from all the mistakes I've made, all the things I've learned, all the things that we've done, I want to encapsulate into this tank and make it as good as it possibly can be. So you don't want to miss it. You want to make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any videos in future. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. That'll make sure that you don't miss any videos. And also, if you've If you want to give me a bit of a high five or a bit of encouragement, give the video a thumbs up. And of course, if you've got any words of wisdom, feel free to pop a comment down below. But that's all about I've got time for today, guys. Just wanted to give you that quick announcement that I do have an upgrade coming and I'm so excited to get it out there. I will have one video on the new tank for you very, very soon. I've got a little bit of development going there, so super keen to share that with you. That'll come out in the next couple of days. So again, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification. But till next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope everyone's staying safe and keep reefing. Catch you later.